Hey guys, back with another episode here for the Lone Rowsdower. We left off at a good spot. Basically, here are four things we're tracking. Rowsdower is talking to the militia. I've decided on some names, and I'll get to a comment from our frequent commenter, Smitty, thanks again, on some details regarding why the militia was allowed to enter the scene and talk to, or at least try to capture, the cultists, which we've already pretty much taken care of, most of them. The militia major, his name is Servo, one of the bots from Mystery Science Theater. The captain of the guard, Crow, with a K, Captain Crow. So I figured I just used both names from both bots. Full names are Major Tom Servo and Captain Crow T Robit. Not sure. Uh, Number two, Satoris is dead. I think the militia has his eyes on him. They're surrounding him, and he appears dead to them, but you never know. Three cultists have been captured, while the other three have escaped. And Major Servo got permission from Crow to interrogate. And here's a comment from Smitty on what most likely transpired. It looks like I'm being censored too. As for the city militia agreement, in a separate scene, at the dumpster fight is happening. The captain of the guard, hey George, is that you? The captain of militia, Paul. "Oh, I didn't know that you were here. I haven't seen you since our time in the Lowlands campaign. Doing well for yourself, I see. Paul, you too, but what are you doing busting my city? Busting up my city. Yeah, brother, sorry about that. Let me tell you what about these guys we're after. So, and then further below in the comments, he mentions to, uh, these are Beatles names, mentions to change the names up. So I figure I just change them to um, the robots from Mystery Science Theater. Now, that does kind of work. So these two they are old friends from past experiences, and they've gone their separate ways. So Major Servo is in charge of militia from whatever town he's from, where the cultists obviously burned it down, ravaged it, etc. And they've been on the hunt ever since. Now, with Satoris dead, it does kind of help. It does indeed help Major Servo and his militia, but he's very confused on who this Rousdower fellow is. That's what we're about to get into. Now, before we start, I was able to track down the audio from Mystery Science, the episode, and this will be, I'm hoping to remember to play this each time before we start.
Rowsdower saves us and saves all the world.
Because he does. So that's the official intro of the Lone Rousdower. There is another audio clip. I don't have it yet, but it's the Lone Rousdower as he kind of skippers away. It's about past halfway through the film, but I figured this one was a little better for an intro. Now, where to start? Well, okay, so we're picturing the Major Servo talking to Rousdower, who is probably standing up, cleaning himself off. He looks at Thomas. Thomas is still unconscious, probably leaning against a pole or something. And again, if I recall correctly, I'm going to retcon it just now. Major Servo says, "And what connection do you have with the cult, with Taurus?" So Rousdower, obviously seeing that these guys are not exactly hostile, but probably not friendly just yet, he's going to give them an answer. The answer he provides is as simple as he's not going to give away his complete backstory, saying that he used to be a member of the cult, but he says that these guys killed my family years ago, and I've been on the hunt for them ever since. A revenge tour, basically. We have to roll for this to see if Major actually is convinced, believes it. Remember, we still have the three fate points here. Oh, by the way, as I've been playing this one shot, or at least a short campaign, the theme of it, I've been kind of there. We've had no fantasy characters whatsoever, barely any magic if at all. Maybe since the Mike Pepper scenes. So it's pretty grounded in reality-ish. So Taurus, again, that's kind of Final Sacrifice. So it's not in Canada per se, but it's definitely in a foresty region. So what do you guys think if I were to switch over? Not obviously in this episode, I'm not throwing a curveball, but what if I were to switch over to Karen? Let me know what you guys think. Smitty, that's your cue. I'm wondering what you think if I were to switch over to Karen. Simple game. I love this game, one of my favorites. I know the rules by heart, and it's easy to hack. much like Fate, but I think it, for some reason, to me, it fits the setting of Lone Rowsdower. It really does. Not dark. It again, the fantasy elements has been pretty low, but dark, grim, death everywhere, etc. Let me know what you guys think. We've encountered monsters and creatures such as that in the back in the forest, but again, I think this really does match up to what I've been going so far, going with so far. Let me know what you guys think. I have the whole box set, the second edition. That's what this is from. The player's guide. It has the character sheets, which I don't print them out, so they're nice and printed professionally. Let me know. All right, back to the episode. So we're rolling for our attempt to convince the guard, the militia, in essence, charisma. But I think this definitely has a bonus. We're not lying. We're giving partial information here. So I think this is going to be either a stunt, not a stunt actually, can't be a stunt. Um, let's use our reluctant hero with the past. That will cost that's our high concept. This is our character by heart. So we got to spend the fate point, and let's roll for it. So that's a plus. I'm giving him a +2 on this one because this is big. 4. Oh, so it's a partial. So we have 10 and a 3. It's a partial. Okay, so 4 against the 3 there. That's a partial success, which means we got to draw a card to see exactly how the militia guy responds. Okay, so this guy right here, he's kind of holding a weapon. Um, he looks like he's hesitant a bit. Perfect shot. Okay, so he wants to believe us. It's partial. He says the story does check out. These guys are notorious for doing exactly what we said, but it's just too easy. He says you match the details on a villager we ran into, days ago, who you fit the exact description. And this is where Rousdower. So again, the partial activates a past experience with Rousdower. And haunted by fire, regret, questionable judgment, false hope, etc. This will compel Rousdower to speak. We'll have to roll for it. No, there's no modifiers here. Um, I can spend a fate point, but I want to save it, even though we're kind of nothing's really crazy just yet. So this will be a compel. It's going to force him to roll. He's going to, depends on the roll. This will detail what he says. I'm not thinking of it just yet. This will drive the narrative. We have 2 4s and a 4. That's technically a tie in Starforge rules. So, Ironsworn, Starforge. I think. I don't make. I hope I'm not mixing up the games. I know one game ties count, the other game ties don't count. You need to exceed the number. But that is a tie against a pair, which means in my book, that's a perfect success. So even though he compels, he's able to invoke or resist the compel with this throw. So let's say he shares a bit more details about his family, starts to sob a bit, one single tear, like Robert Goulet. Um, he explains what he did to his family, what they're known for. He's been hunting them down, and now he's looking at Satoris dead, and he says he thinks that the job is not done yet. There's 3 out there. Even with these 3 caught, there's a huge network of them, etc. Could be bullshit from here, but again, he rolled it perfect, so I'm going to let it slide. So that means Tom Major Servo is convinced. He does acknowledge that, uh, well, actually, we have to explain the whole villager situation from the very first episode. So it's not really a lie. So he explains that it was unfortunate he was trying to help her, but she was startled by his appearance, and she fled. This was fresh after the attack of the cultists. He says he saw the cultists and he went after him. He didn't have time to tell her, so he went. So he does share that information, but he does not share that he was part of the cult years ago. That might just give him some distrust, distrust. So today, students, we're learning about how to say distrust. So he does share that detail to close off that loop, to close that issue. And I think Major Servo starts to relate here. Takes a deep breath. He looks back at against Storch is dead. the three cultists are still captured. They're looking around all panicking, like what's going to happen. And the captain, or I'm sorry, the major looks to one of his other higher ranking officers. He says, "We're short on time. We got to keep going." So the agreement was that, back to Smitty's comment, basically, uh, the Crow allowed. He says, "Okay, but make it quick. You can interrogate, question, finish off find the remaining cultists. You're doing me a huge favor here, but you need to get out of town. I don't want the other citizens seeing how that we're not able to handle our own issues, kind of thing." So again, he's a friend of his. Give him a chance to interrogate and get the hell out of here. Um, so maybe they do have some beef, but again, this being a one-shot short campaign, probably not really. We don't really need to go deeper than that. Okay, so he believes him. He says, "Okay, up." So again, I think Rousdower here was on one knee, kind of just looking down. He's all dramatic. He stands up. The archers lower their bows a bit. I don't think they were pointed at Rousdower. They're like kind of pointed to the side. They lower their bows. The remaining cultists are rounded up, tied up, and they're taken away. Servo, Major Servo he puts his hand on Rousdower's shoulder and he says, "Look, just don't have us finding you here or anytime soon. I recommend you get your friend patched up. Till next time." And he turns around and they leave. And now, so Taurus, that's the other question. I think when he's about to turn around, Rousdower says, "Well, what about Satoris? What about their leader?" And then he looks to Satoris, or Servo looks to Satoris, says, "I'm pretty sure he's dead. No one can survive a knife to the head unless you're an adventurer like me." And Rousdower's not convinced. He's, "Look, this guy, he is pure evil. He has dark powers. He will come back. You need to burn his corpse. You need to burn him alive." And Servo's kind of surprised by that. He says, "You have some knowledge about this guy, don't you?" This is, again, kind of revealing some things. And Rousdower quickly pivots to Thomas. He says, he looks at Thomas, "Well, my friend here, he knows more than I do." So this will require a roll. It's kind of a pivot, but I think the major is like, "How'd you know that?" Or, "How do you know, is that true?" So let's roll for it. No charisma, but this could be this is a stunt. Seen cultists before, dealing with the cultists. It's related to the cult. So let's just roll +1 on this roll. 5 compared to okay, that's fine. So that's a partial. He says, because it's partial, they're not going to handle it. He says, "Look, we got to go. I want to believe you, but your friend there can't speak for himself. You guys burn the corpse, or at least dump him in the water with a rock tied to the feet." They turn around and leave. So Satoris is just dead there, and when they're walking away, the militia does one of them does shout out, "Better make it quick. The city guard's right around the corner." So Rousdower, he's thinking, "What the hell?" So he walks up to Satoris. He looks back. Thomas is still unconscious. He's like, "Left to clean up this mess here." He's making sure there's no other cultists around because they're still scattered about. And I think what he wants to do is probably, this is gruesome. Cover your ears. But I think he's going to take the knife out of the head, which might be stupid because maybe he can heal. But remember, in the movie, a couple of arrows, he's dead. He burns. So I think we can say he has a weakness. Let's draw a card. The outrageous thing is the thing is maybe he does heal. Maybe he's Deadpool. He can heal through injury, or like Claire Bennett from Heroes, or Siler, or the Peter Petrelli. That her power was it deactivates the power if you stab the back of the head. It's not like that. So here's a card just to help us kind of go through this scene here, and um, that's interesting. So generous. Ent. It's a creature, tree folk. Huh. This is the card. You guys can't see it. I'm not really sure to make it. It looks very messy. Like it's disorganized, it's creepy looking. Oh, so Taurus's face is like he is drained. Like his body, his face is like a corpse. So the knife is there, but like he's drained. Like he's just kind of like that. So like his eyes are like just not a skeleton, but it's just pale. Skin is sunken in. Very gruesome to look at. Kind of like again, kind of like that creature. And Rousdower is a little surprised. So maybe he's going to dump the body. He's gonna keep the knife in the head. Doesn't want to. Well, actually, let's roll a question outside of Rousdower's knowledge. So first, this roll will make fact if indeed if the knife is removed, Sartoris recovers. Let's see. D100. I think from the mentions earlier, his dark powers, 65% chance. Nope, he doesn't. Does not recover if the knife is removed. Oh, so he removes the knife. Okay, so he removes the knife. All right. So with that, he does not recover. Maybe he is actually dead. Okay, 85%, 75% chance. Is he dead? Like indeed dead? Yeah, he is. Okay, so those two rules confirm it. This kind of changes the story around here. So Taurus is dead. This could be good though. Maybe there's a surviving member of the cult that takes over the role. There you go. Let's go with the bizarre, as Smitty has said. Not too bizarre. That's actually is probable. You kill the leader, like Hydra. You one takes the role moving forward. Okay, so Satorus is dead. I'm gonna write that in my notes here. Satorus is dead. We take the body. He quickly dumps into the water. Goes back to Thomas. Tries to wake him up. Splashes some water in space. Thomas probably lets. Does he wake up? Not really like a risky save or anything like that. 50% chance he wakes up from that. Oh my gosh, he does. That's a solid 10 less. That's extreme yes. Not only does he wake up, he screams. He's like, oh gosh. He goes, he goes, ah! Like freaks out, like he's looking around. What happened? Where's the Taurus? Looking around, all confused. And Rouser's like, whoa, whoa, relax, buddy. Thomas, relax, relax. The Taurus is dead. He's gone. And Thomas like, I don't believe it. No, 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 wait, no, wait, where is he? I don't sense him. He's not here. Where's the cult? So Rousdale fills him in the information, but when he's talking, he's like, "Look, the militia was here. Cultists defeated for the most part. I dumped Sator's body into the water. That's when the captain and the guard walk in. Okay, so while he's talking, they stand up. Again, he's still hurt, so let's recover a few stress. I think for our part, we recover one stress box, while Thomas recovers another. So they are about the same condition. Nothing, not a polarizing difference. So the guard walks in. Okay, they're talking. They're talking. We're gonna draw a card to see exactly what the guard does. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the guard, like so, they charge in, I guess. I mean, the guard. That works out perfectly. It is a guard rally at the Hornburg card. Create two with a cry and great noise. They charge. That's just okay. The comedic scene. The guard charge in, screaming, looking around. They stop, and they just see Rousdower and Thomas, two injured individuals, just stand there confused, looking around like there's a whole battalion of city guard, like with their swords drawn, wooden shields, ah, looking around like, and the city guard, the captain, Captain Crow, he pushes through his team. He's like, "Enough, you idiots!" My gosh, he puts his sword. He sheaths it back. He says, "God, you guys are idiots. You two, come with me." So, uh, Rouser's like, "What for?" Like, got some questions for you. So we just spoke to. Didn't we just speak to your other? Well, no, I don't think Rouser is playing stupid here. I think Rouser would just say, "We just spoke to the militia. What more do we have to say?" And then the guard says, "We're not with the militia. We're with the guard." And the city of, I Forgot the name. The city of so they okay. So basically, we have a location change here. We are now at the main barracks. The city guard escorts um, Thomas and Rousdower to the barracks to be questioned. Okay, so barracks, and it's a questioning with the captain. All right, so now they sit down. They do get bandaged up. They're not, again, these guys are not bad. I'm pretty sure that the captain sees that these two are not threats. They're not part of the cult, and they are civilians who get caught up in the mess. But they still want to ask questions. So I think they're trying to figure out who this cult is, and what they're doing in the city. So essentially, both Rousdower Company and the militia cleaned up the mess the guard's been trying to figure out for probably a few months now or for years. So the guard, offers them a coffee or something, has a little light over their head, a good cop, bad cop, like, etc. And basically, Rousdower just sitting there on probably one of the beds. Um, the coops, what they're called, and Thomas is laying back. He has a couple of bandages over his eyes, over his head. He's injured a bit. He's looking at the ceiling, kind of mumbling to himself and he's clutching the map. I'd say he's really holding on to the map. The guard sits down and says, "Your friend okay? What's he doing with that scroll?" And Rousdower looks back and says, "It's a family heirloom. Now, what is this all about?" I don't know why I'm picturing the captain having like a southern accent. I don't know why. I'm just gonna go with it. But basically, the captain says, "Look, you guys are causing all sorts of madness found back in the docks, but at the same time, you and your friends helped out a problem we had. A certain itch on my back, a clean scratch. What do you guys know about that cult down there? And how'd you find them?" Well, Rousdower is not really in a position to lie. I mean, he could tell a white lie, but still a secret. Doesn't want to reveal that he didn't part of the cult for years ago with his friend here, Thomas. He says that the cult killed his family. Same spiel from before. Cult killed his family. He's been on a revenge tour, been trying to find them. The militia just happened to be on uh, had the same goal. They intersected and they escaped being hostage. He saved his friend Thomas. Maybe he said he was looking for his friend Thomas. He found him, saved him from that that burning building. The militia intervened. Then you guys showed up, and then the leader was killed. We don't know where the body is. That's where he dumped the body. It doesn't tell him that. So let's roll to see if this all works. I think Rousdower is really telling this all with genuine truth-ish for the most part, keeping out some details. But I'm gonna give him a +2. It's another fate point for one of his high concept. So, or more so, gruff protector of the innocent. So I'll give him a +2 on this roll. Ooh, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, that's a fail. Even with the three, that's below 2 sevens, which is a critical fail. So doubles are exaggerated. They are heightened in depending on the results. So shoot. Okay, so the guard, the captain, he says, "Quite the story you're telling to me there. Why did one of my scouts see you dump the body into the water of their supposed leader? And you're on top of the roof. You broke in. A fight ensued. Uh, my gut says you have a connection to them. And if you don't tell me the truth, I'm going to have you hung for treason, for crimes against humanity, shit like that." So Rousdower is in a tough spot, and I think maybe he needs to tell the truth now. This won't be a roll. I think he has to tell the truth now. Maybe some of the guards are they kind of like grip their swords to their side, like they put their hand on the sheath. They're like just showing dominance. They are kind of making a physical threat. Rousdower doesn't want to obviously fight back here. These are on the people on the side of law. Rousdower is often the drifter, but he's not a bad person. He's not really necessarily an anti-hero, but he's on the borderline of that kind of role. So Rousdower is going to compel and explain uh, a brief summarization of his backstory. This compel will give him back a fate point. And it's the Haunted by Fire. He explains that he used to be part of this cult years ago. He defected with a few others. They stole the map. The map is something of high value to the cult. The leader, Satorus, is now dead, was seeking it, but it's been on the hands of an old friend. He brought it to Thomas. Thomas is only one able to find the city of Ziox, finally destroy it, etc. And it has to be burned in the center of the city, wherever the city may be. And so he tells the whole story again, like in probably one fell swoop. And the guard, they are like looking around. I'm curious what the let's draw a card. I'm either I can roll for it or the cards will tell exactly how the guard responds. Because this is probably just it. Maybe they're aware of this. Maybe the city is right underneath their feet, and they've been keeping this thing a secret for a long time. Or maybe they just laugh their asses off. They think this whole thing is a joke to them. Let's draw a card, and this card will be their response. I've done that card before. I'm not really a fan of that card. I'm gonna drop back. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, this one's very detailed. So that's the card. Okay, just so you guys get a little shot of it. Blade brand. Okay, so yeah, there's a giant in there. Okay, it looks like he's has blades through him. All right, so that looks like it's underneath, like the Underdark. Um, uh, the pain of searing iron and razor edges pales beside the pleasure of performance. Judith, I think that's a J. All right, so yeah, that's a dark, dark secret, and the city guard looking around. There's two others who are trusted individuals nearby. He, the guard does this to, or the captain, Captain Crow, does this to the guard. The two at the, it's a tent. They close a tent. The city guard leans forward. He says, "So you know about the city of Ziox? Can your friend talk? Can your friend speak?" And he looks back. He gets up, walks over to Thomas, and I shakes him a bit, like, "Thomas, are you awake?" Thomas comes to. He's like, "What? What's going on?" He says, "Look, you need to tell the captain where the city is. If you don't, things won't turn out too well for us." So then Rowsdower goes back to Captain. My friend here can read the map, and he's the only one who can. And then Rowsdower says, "How do you guys know about the city?" The captain stands up. He looks back to the guards. He walks up to Rowsdower, like face to face. He says, "Because you're standing in it, or because you're standing on top of it." Rowsdower looks down and he says, "It's underneath." The guard nods yes. Yeah. Like only me, a couple of others, the king, or the mayor, whoever the leader. Only a few of us know that. We've been keeping it a secret for many generations. The cult, they got close. Can we trust you? Or like, what do you guys? Here's the issue. They need to destroy the city, destroy the map, destroy the city. The cults, they disband forever. But what happens when the city is destroyed? There's this other city on top of it. Again, the Bay of whatever the card said, forgot. I'll make up a name. Let's see, city, the Bay of I mean, I can think of a Canadian province maybe, or let's use the card. So we have here Blade Brand. I like that. Bay of Blade Brand. Yeah, that's actually I like that. Blade Brand. So we are in the Bay of Blade Brand. It's a small city. It's a what do you call that? Anyways, uh, they do a lot of agriculture, shipping, imports, exports. It's a hub. So we need to ask the Oracle a question here. If the city is destroyed, does the Bay of Blade Brand get destroyed. That's a tough one. I think it's 50-50 on this one. And I'll really explain, really will drive how uh, the captain explains or responds here. 50% or less. No, it doesn't. But it might. I think with the difference, the no there, whoops, is a 63. Anyways, it's 63. Hmm. It does not get destroyed. All right. Good. That's fine. So, the city on top doesn't get destroyed, but the city below can destroy. He says, "You guys know how to destroy the city of Psyox." And then Rouser's, well, yeah, this map, we need to take it into the heart of the city, burn the scroll, burn the map, the city just gets destroyed. Isn't that right, Thomas? And Thomas is like, yeah, that's about it. It's about as simple as it is. Like, who wrote this shit? You know? And so the guard looking around, he's like, we gotta tell the king. Come with me. We need to speak to the king right away. So uh, they kind of rush out, and the guard Rousdower stops the guards. And what about my friend? What about Thomas? Thomas is kind of tries to sit up a little bit, and I think Thomas is probably healed up by now. So let's take away that first, and so are we. I think we're healed up, so we're stress free. Thomas stands up. He says, "I believe I'm in better condition, my friend. Thank you again, Rousdower, Zap Rousdower." And they kind of shake hands and like, all right. Rousdower's like, enough of the waterworks. What do we? He looks to the guard. Let's go talk to the king, the leader, the mayor, whoever it is, the man in charge. The city captain, Captain Crow, says this is going to be splendid news. We've been dealing with this cult for years. They've been a nuisance. We've been trying to find the entrance. And then Tom says, "There's an entrance. Do you know where it is?" The guard says, "We don't, but the king might. We just know the city's below our feet. His family's been keeping it secret for generations." And so they leave the tent. They make their way to the main castle, and that's where like it shows Rousdower, Thomas, uh, the captain, Crow walking towards the castle at the heart of the city, and that's where it fades to black. And I think that's where I'm going to end it for now. So, um, yeah, cliffhanger. Let me know what you guys think. The Sartoris is dead. Rousdower got his revenge. Most of the cult is disbanded. There's a few left. There could be more. I think earlier I was saying Rousdower says that there's a network of them, and so the city's been having issues with them, which explains why they've been there. They've been trying to find the entrance to the city, which again explains because the city's underneath, literally underneath the feet, but there's an entrance. There's a secret entrance. Only the king knows. The king's family knows about it, has known about it for generations. Maybe the king doesn't want to destroy the city. Maybe there's something important in there. So a lot of things here. But should I continue it? I think this ends on a good note. Rousdower's alive. We save Thomas. Mike Pepper's alive. The militia went their separate way. The guard pretty much recruited Rousdower, which gives him a reason to keep his mind off his dead family, which I think I'll probably have to remove. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove that. It's probably too soon, but I think that ship has sailed. I don't see it as a necessary. Uh, I don't see it as necessary anymore. But so here's the thing, or here's the predicament. With all that in mind, I believe the story is complete. This first arc is complete for Rousdower. His mind is set. He has a purpose now. He's not a drifter. His family, again, his past is past, but now him and Thomas can become two new, level one characters and help work with the king, trying to find this underground city, trying to find the heart of it. Maybe the cult is gonna find a way through. Maybe Sartoris isn't. There's gonna be a new Sartoris in there. So yeah, because it does kind of line up with well, not the Final Sacrifice movie with the city rises up and it goes away, disappears, or whatever happens to it. But I think we're halfway there in that kind of sentiment. So I don't know if I'm going to end it or not. I really don't know. I really want to do the sci-fi, the mother's ship. game with another one shot with my Sector Void story, and this has been 10 episodes, which is a very comfortable number to finish on. So let me know what you guys think. Um, I hope there are, definitely a few commenters. Spinny, thank you again as always for the comments and obviously using your comments. Um, but I think it's necessary to close it. But I want to hear what you guys think. Again, I want to try these more engagements, these these interacting moments with you guys. I want you to have a say in the story. I know it's not live, so it's not like, back and forth in real time, but at least if your comments are on there, I can see them and I'll respond personally, and I will choose the best one I feel is the most effective on here. So that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. It could be the end, it maybe not. It depends on what you guys, what your response is. So if it does continue, then yes, I will make, I will use Karen. I think that's necessary. I think if we're getting into the Underdark with castle monsters, etc., Karen is definitely going to qualify. Again, Fate was great for this kind of low fantasy, low dark fantasy, occasional creatures, more human characters walking around doing things. I think Karen becomes more necessary if we're going to run into like skeletons or ghosts, etc. So this will definitely, or werewolves, zombies, vampires. This will definitely take the cake. And I can always do two characters because now we have both Rousdower and Thomas. I think Rousdower is going to be more because there's backgrounds in here. I'll have to go through the backgrounds. Rousdower is more of a drifter, obviously, uh, but Thomas I think is more of like a sage or a scholar. It's again I got to look at the backgrounds and match it up. So that's going to be it. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one shot of the Lone Rousdower. I will play this song once more.
Rowsdower saves us and saves all the
And
world.
as always, please do subscribe, like, share, and comment. Till next time, thank you for watching.